I'm Alan Ford, Vice President with Kinder Morgan, and tonight is our 8th public meeting we've been to on the project, 2 hosted by the Department of Transportation and 6 hosted by the company. And it's really the first step in a lengthy process to discuss and have a public conversation and dialogue about what we believe to be an important project for the state of Georgia. Kinder Morgan currently operates over 3,000 miles of pipeline across 85 counties in the state of Georgia. Operating pipelines is our business, and those pipelines transport currently natural gas, diesel, ethanol, gasoline, jet fuel, and other products. We're an important part currently of the Georgia economy and Georgia energy infrastructure. Our pipelines transport product that helps planes fly at Hartsfield International, military planes get in the air at our military bases, and provide gasoline to gas stations across Georgia. And what we're talking about with our Palmetto pipeline project is an expansion of what we currently do in many other parts of Georgia. This is an extension off of our Plantation pipeline system, a pipeline system that transports refined product to Georgia and many other states all the way to Washington, D.C. It's a major part of the southeast and northeast energy infrastructure of the United States. So when we look at expanding our existing infrastructure projects, we look at the need for those projects, and that at the end of the day is part of what the Department of Transportation is reviewing at this time, Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. So what is the need for additional refined products to Georgia? We're proposing to transport around 150,000 barrels a day of product to destinations in the Augusta area, in the Savannah area, and the Jacksonville, Florida. We expect about 50 to 60% of the product of this line to be delivered to existing terminals in North Augusta, servicing the Augusta area, to a newly constructed terminal in Richmond Hill near Savannah, and the remaining product, other 50% of the product, to Florida and South Carolina. And we base that amount, that 150,000 barrels a day, on what customers have asked us to transport. We are a transportation company. We transport product from one place to another to serve customers. Customers then deliver that product to homes and businesses. So we're in the transportation business, and we transport based upon what our customers tell us that they need. We don't build pipelines and hope that someday people might use them. We build them based upon customer needs. So we're not just talking about the need today or tomorrow or 2 weeks from now. We're trying to forecast with our customers over 20, 25, 30 years and determine what the needs for the state of Georgia based upon the 40+% population growth that's anticipated in the region, the 23 counties that we're talking about, the increase in need for refined products that's taken into account, better mileage of cars, probably less consumption in some parts of the industry, but overall, taking a full analysis, that additional product will be needed in the amounts that we're talking about. This is all domestic product from the Gulf to Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. 100% domestic. No export as part of the project. It's all destined for shipments to terminals in the areas that I mentioned. So when you look at projects, you look at 2 major pieces of expanding projects. Investing $1 billion as we are in this project. One is the commercial viability of the project, the ability to understand and know that once the pipeline is built and in service, that it will be carrying refined products, gasoline, diesel, and ethanol to users that will use the product. That means that the pipe, for all practical purposes, will be full of product, distributing that product to customers who will distribute it to homes and businesses. That's the first piece. Then you have to have a project that's also permittable. When we look at projects, we look at them for years, really, before we ever announce the first parts of the project. And that's what we've done with the Palmetto project, reviewing the permits and the requirements of the states that we're going to do business in. With our long history here in the state of Georgia and our recent construction of major pipeline projects, we understand the regulatory environment here. And we know and work with the regulatory agencies that are part of this project and this process. So you need to design and build a project that's permittable. That's why we have proposed to locate the pipeline 88% along existing utility corridors. That means next to existing infrastructure, power lines, pipelines, roads, railroads. So most of this pipeline is located in an existing energy corridor. That lessens the impacts on particular areas. Doesn't eliminate the impacts, but it lessens them. So we want our pipeline to be as much within or at least adjacent to existing infrastructure throughout the 3 states that we're passing through. So you need to be sure that you design a project that can meet and exceed the standards of all the states, including the state of Georgia, as well as the federal government, which has a significant regulatory role. So our project right now is in this particular stage, but there are many additional stages to come. This is narrowly focused on the public convenience and necessity purpose. We're also looking at a project for service to a region that's part of a national energy infrastructure. This is all about, at the end of the day, getting domestic product to domestic destinations. No reliance on foreign sources of energy. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about OPEC and foreign countries determining our overall economic survival on whether we were going to get fuel from other countries. Now, with pipelines and expanding infrastructure, we can get domestic product to domestic users. So we fully understand and appreciate that there's going to be a very spirited discussion about these projects. That's obviously been shown here tonight, has been shown at many other meetings, and with people that we respect very much. It's an important dialogue, and we want to be part of that dialogue. As we have been part of the public dialogue and discussion in Georgia for many years, provided very important service to the state of Georgia. We want to do things right. We're not a perfect company. We don't do everything right, but we strive to do that. I think our 300-plus employees and our existing infrastructure and history here shows that. So we look forward to continuing the dialogue this evening and in subsequent meetings, and at the end of the day, showing to the state of Georgia and to the people of Georgia that we have a project that is good for Georgia. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Tanya Bonatadibus. I'm the Riverkeeper for Savannah Riverkeeper. I also represent Pushback the Pipeline Coalition. One of the things that hit the news yesterday was a spill that occurred in California. It was approximately 100,000 gallon spill. The number keeps growing. However, to put that into perspective, it's gotten a lot of national news. We know for a fact that in Belton, South Carolina, we have the very same pipeline that Palmetto wants to tie into had an over 300,000 gallon spill in December. So it's at least 3 times bigger than the one that's in California right now. The big difference being that it was lucky enough that it was on the land, not along the water. But as is very clear in California right now, you can see what happens when this stuff gets into a waterway.
What's the alternative?
What's the alternative? I think the status quo is the alternative. I don't think this is needed. The infrastructure is already there. Gas prices are not astronomical in this area because competition is good. So I don't think that we need this pipeline at all.
Over 20 industries, factory direct pricing, membership savings. Learn more calling at 706-724-3355.